Alrighty, so it is time to dive into the offseason, and we have a few decisions here. And look at this, Mike Soroka actually did void his last year of his contract, which is actually pretty shocking. Usually when, well, I guess maybe not, because he was performing pretty well. It's usually when guys are like, the guys are just absolutely just falling off a cliff. They're like, all right, I'm going to take the $20 million you have me on an option for. But Mike Soroka declined his option, so we are going to have a decent amount of change to be spending here in the offseason. So Soroka is no longer on our books. Dylan Dingler here, we can decide to bring him back or not. I think I'm going to. I might. I don't know. But Jared Kelenic here is 1,000% we are going to execute his option. So Jared Kelenic is back on the team this season. And then LJ Newsome is, yeah, we're just not going to bring back Newsome. He's going to go into free agency. We're going to get somebody else in our bullpen. We're not going to pay him $3 million this year. We are instead going to buy out his contract. So Newsome is not returning. Soroka, like I said, voided his deal, and now we just have to make a decision on Dingler. Do we want Dingler, or do we want Suzak to be the starter and then sign somebody to be his backup? Or we could even just have Luke Hancock as his backup, to be honest. Because remember, we're also getting Gilbert off the books, White off the books, Josh Lowe off the books, Dunn, Gilbo, Cody Hosey, Trey Winginter. All that money is coming off the books for us this season. And like even right now, since we have $46 million, and that's probably that's going to go up or down depending on if we decide to bring back Dylan Dingler. So we're going to have a decent chunk to spend here. I think we could probably get similar production from. Yeah, I think we could get similar production from Suzak here, so I think we're just gonna move on from 30-year-old Dylan Dingler. Yeah, we're just gonna move on from Dingler. We're gonna get production from Daniel Suzak here at catcher. He's going to be our switch-hitting starter this year. So Dylan Dingler, void last year of his contract, and those are the moves we're making with the options. And one thing I do want to do right away is firing our new trainer, who I thought was very, very bad this season. So Josh Pine, not the move at trainer. We are instead going to find somebody else to be our trainer this year. I'm thinking PJ Mainville here is the guy we're going to go with. He's been the Cubs trainer. They haven't been a great team, but I'm liking the fact that he's just good or great across the board, and then he has outstanding at preventing arm and leg injuries. So we're going to go with this guy. We're going to offer him to be our trainer. So of all the arbitration guys that we have, it's really only Garabitos and Perez that we are trying to re-sign here. Perez only has one more year, so I'll probably try to get like a little bit less than 7.9. And then Garabitos, I'll probably try to buy out his arbitration, or maybe not buy out, but like try to get maybe 2 years, and at cheaper than this rate. All right, so Brian Perez is not interested in doing anything like that. He only wants like a multi-year extension at like 10 million, and I'm really not trying to give him that, to be honest. So we're just gonna, let him get what he gets in arbitration. And one of the reasons why I'm not interested in doing that is because you never know if he's going to be healthy or not. You never know if he's just going to miss like a whole year. I mean, like when he is healthy, he's either like 2027 here where he's like, fine, or he's 2028 or 2025 here. And I'm just, not really trying to take a chance on giving him that much money here. So we're just going to let him get what he gets in arbitration, and then we'll see what happens next season. Aquino here is a guy who we are not going to be bringing back here. We're just going to let him walk. Also, I'm seeing that Dylan Dingler actually still has arbitration, so we could try to bring him back, but I don't want to. I don't want to bring back Dylan Dingler. So maybe we try to trade Dylan Dingler? Maybe we could do that. All right, so before we do anything with Dingler here, there's also Michael Busch, who is a guy who we could probably bring back to be like a depth first baseman. I think we'll probably end up doing that. I also want to see if we can get Rusty Bynum here extended for multiple seasons. Man, Rusty Bynum's being a real pain right now. He wants like just an insane deal here, and he's at the point where if I offer him something and he doesn't like it, he's just going to not want to talk extension. The thing about offering him this is he would be quite old by the end of this deal, and he's obviously a first baseman, but he's basically a DH. I did not mean to back out on him like that. He could play first base, but he's a DH. Like, he's not Evan White. He doesn't have like two-way it doesn't have like two-way value like Evan White does. So Rusty Bynum I do want to extend him here, but I don't want to, like, get him till he's, like, 35 years old. Like, a 6-year extension would have him through, like, his age 32 season, so, like, if I give him a team option for this 6th year, and then maybe we bump this down to, like, 10 mil, this down to, like, 10 mil, and maybe, I don't know, bump these up to, like, that, would you like that? Ah, he likes that. All right, I think we're going to offer Rusty Bynum this extension. We're going to give him that, and if he continues to be just like an incredible bat for us, then we've got ourselves, you know, our DH for the next however many seasons. So we're going to do him that. Rusty Bynum, he's going to get that extension. And then Garabitos would accept this. He's projected to get like 4.2 this year and then bump up to like 6 next year. So if we can get him for 4.5 or 4.6 and then 4.9, I'll do that. So we'll offer Garabitos a little bit less than what he's projected to be getting, save some money on him. And as far as these guys, all these guys want big money. So like Josh Dunn is asking for 19 mil. Don't really want to give him that, especially on the length there. He's also 33. Logan Gilbert, don't really want to give him this. I mean, maybe like a 1-year deal, but I'm kind of leaning towards not doing that. Josh Lowe, definitely not bringing him back. LJ Newsome doesn't even want to resign at all because doesn't like Ozzie Guillen. Mike Soroka wants 24 million and long-term, and then Evan White wants long-term for 23 million. So we're just not going to give any of these guys extensions. We're going to give all of them qualifying offers here, except for Newsome, because he's definitely not going to be wanting like 15 million anyways. So the rest of these guys get qualifying offers, and we're going to be possibly getting 5 draft picks if all these guys decline, which they probably should. So yeah. And then as far as Verdugo here, I thought I might bring him back if he was cheap, but he's not really cheap. He wants long-term and for like 14 million, so we're not going to do that. Obviously not bringing back Gilbo or Trey Winginter, but I definitely want to see what we can get for Dylan Dingler here. The thing is, I don't want to block anybody who would be taking over for us right now. So if we look at our minor league system here, Ron Kennedy is a guy who probably is going to be an everyday left fielder for us next season. Possibly right field, or one of him or Kennedy ends up in right field. So those guys are guys we want in the big leagues. Or Kelnick's going to be in right field. What am I saying? But we definitely want Burrows and Kennedy up in the big leagues together. Verdugo and Lowe are not going to be up because they're going to be in free agency. We also have Dave Cooper, who we will be calling up straight to the big leagues. He missed most of last season with a torn ACL, but he expects to be playing in the major leagues. He definitely has the ratings my scout thinks to be playing. OSA is even higher on him than my scout is. He's incredible defensively. He could easily just come in and play like third base for us next year, or even like just literally anywhere. As you can see here, the guy is insane anywhere he plays. So Dave Cooper is a guy to look out for this upcoming season. We've also got the possibility of this Pat Reese guy, who I would like to see hit a little bit more before I do anything with him. But he is a guy who has the potential to be an extremely good defensive center fielder. He's still 21 years old, so he's still pretty young. He's never going to be anything like too special, but he is a guy who could end up in the big leagues at some point soonish. Also keeping an eye on Frank Monroy here, who did not have a great season in Double-A. Hasn't been too special in the minor leagues, but just his like raw skills are very good. I would like to see the control get a bit better, but I mean, all this stuff is extremely good. So he's a guy who he might even just go straight up to the major leagues next year. He will definitely be on the spring training roster, and we will definitely see what is the deal with him. There's also someone like Nate Fairchild, who I would like to see develop a bit more before I do anything with him, but he is potentially a guy who is going to be pretty solid for us. I would like to see him pitch better. Maybe he's just bored with A-ball at this point, and he'll perform better in Double-A next year. There's also Devin Bloom, who is a guy who has not really been great in the minor leagues for us. He is a guy who, once again, maybe he's just bored with this level, and maybe he performs better in Double-A next year when he's challenged or something, or maybe he's just a bust. We'll see with him. We've also got somebody like Esteban Jimenez here, who is somebody who just came out of literally nowhere. He's the 25th prospect, as you can see right here. Incredible eye. I mean, he is a guy who literally came out of nowhere. He was a scouting discovery in 2024, and all of a sudden is just like an absurd player. So he's a guy who is probably going to be fast-tracked to the major leagues, or the minor leagues here. He'll definitely be in Double-A to start next season. We'll just put him there right now. Yeah, Double-A Arkansas, bam, he'll start there next season, and maybe he ends up in the big leagues at some point in 2029. Maybe he ends up as a Kelnick's replacement in 2030. We'll see what happens with his progression. We've also got somebody like Leonardo Salina, who was in short A season last year along with rookie ball and was really good in both leagues. That's a great sign for him. He's going to be 18. He's basically 18 and a half right now, and he's going to be starting the season in A ball next year. So we'll see how that goes with him. And then we've got a couple like immediate ready guys. Somebody like Jamie Rea here, who, once again, outfielder. We have a lot of these guys. He might end up in the big leagues as like a fourth outfielder next season, but we'll see what happens with him. Keyshawn Akers did not get much playing time last season. As you can see, he fractured his ankle, but he is a guy to keep an eye on as well. He is the number 18 prospect right now. Satoshi Date has kind of fallen off a bit here, but he still put up a decent numbers in AAA, so he is still a guy to keep an eye on. David Lopez is another guy who could potentially be a fourth outfielder guy for us next season, or even like a center fielder. Not the greatest center fielder, but he could play the position. He's a decent bat, doesn't walk much at all, really, but he doesn't strike out at all, and he, one of those types of high contact, avoid K, and decent outfielder type players. This is actually something I might be interested in here. Jose Pedraza is first base prospect. Now, this is something we have to keep in mind because Jose Pedraza here is the guy who we thought we might try to get last season, and I added him to my watch list here. As you can see, had a decent year in Double-A. He's had some really good offensive seasons in the minor leagues. He's had really good WARs. He expects to be playing in the major leagues. He's a switch hitter. Hits well against both sides. Thing is he's a first baseman or DH. And right now, the first base situation would be like Bynum as the DH, and then Damon Dews would end up being first baseman next season. We could easily just trade Dews away, though, and have Pedraza play first base, or even somebody like maybe Ron Kennedy ends up at first base. Maybe not, because he cannot play first base at all. I'm thinking this might actually be the move, unless there's somebody else here that I like, but Pedraza is definitely somebody I like. He's a switch hitter, which I very, very much like. I feel like he could be a really good player for us. Him and Bynum being in like the middle of our lineup for the years to come, along with our other prospects. There's also this guy from the Angels system, TJ Joseph, who is about to be 24. He's a lefty-lefty, which I don't particularly like. He's had some really good seasons. He's coming off a season in high A ball. So even though he expects to be playing in the major leagues, I'm very hesitant to have a guy go straight from high A ball to the big leagues. Also, he's another outfielder who can't really play the outfield, so I'm not really looking to acquire that, so I think I'm still leaning towards Pedraza. Unless this guy, he can't really play first base. I don't know. I think, because I don't like the lefty thing. I think the lefty thing at our ballpark is very much something that matters. We're actually going to do this. We're going to give them Dylan Dingler, which is ironic because we're sending Dingler back to the D-backs, which is where we got him from. We've made a lot of trades with the D-backs here. We just have really Arizona to Seattle pipeline going on here. And also Connor Walsh, who he's in AAA. He's basically a 4A guy at this point in his career. I don't think he's going to be anything. We're going to get rid of him and Dingler, and we're going to pick up Pedraza, who's going to play first base for us. I'm going to probably trade away Dews for something. And Pedraza will take his spot in the order, or just on the team. And then also we get this Jose Castillo guy, who is a 20-year-old catcher. He was their third-round pick in 2027. He's been okay at the plate, and it seems like he could be a pretty solid hitting catcher and an around average defensive catcher. So 20 years old right now, still a few years away from the major leagues, but that's fine because we have Suzak right now. So maybe once Suzak starts getting up there in years, this guy can take over at the catcher position for us. And that is the move we are making here. We're also going to throw on this random minor league catcher here, and we're also going to get Josias de los Santos back on our team, because I feel like he could be a guy who helps us out. And he doesn't even have any, like, Major League Service time at all, so I feel like he could be somebody who pitches well for us, so we're going to get him back on our team and do a little bit of a swap here. Alright, so I'm thinking that this is something that we could do here, and it's going to be something that we're going to do, is Marte is going to go in division to the Angels, which could be risky. But also Nate Fairchild, who obviously is one of our prospects. He's number 89 in all of baseball. Hasn't been great in the minor leagues for us, is the thing. So, like, you know, yeah, my scout and OSA are pretty high on him, but he hasn't performed at all. So I'm not really too concerned about losing him. And also, we have just had, like, an insane track record with having really good pitchers. So, I mean, I don't think we particularly need to be worried about trading pitchers. What we need to be doing is improving our bats. And this would help us. I'm not sure where TJ Joseph would fit in. Like, maybe he ends up on the big league team this year, I would think. Where he plays, I don't know. Maybe I try to throw him in center field. We just don't have a great defensive center field, like we're the Mets or something. But, I would like this guy in our system. You can see here he's very good offensively, at least a good defensive corner outfielder, extremely fast, could be a really good bat for us. And then also, what I really wanted to, because this guy is like the less valued guy. This guy is the real one. Victor Flores here, 19 years old, about to be 20, already expects to be in the major leagues. He was a scouting discovery. He's only the 81st prospect in baseball, but I mean, this guy is, he is just, there is no level that can contain this guy so far. He has just continued to up it and up it and up it with his WAR. His slash lines are ridiculous. He hits home runs. He steals bags. He has a great WRC+, OPS+, WOOBA, just all these great stats, good peripherals here with walks and strikeouts. Just insane defensively. A +97 ZR, a 265 range factor. I mean, just insane for this guy. And maybe not this season, but next season he could end up being the center fielder, and maybe even at some point in halfway through this year. But this guy, I want him. So we're gonna get both these guys. For Marte, we get rid of his contract. We get rid of this guy who is no longer what we want. We could just play Dave Cooper at shortstop this season. And Fairchild, who I'm not really concerned with losing. And we can even get this Jamie Hopkins guy, who is a 23-year-old lefty reliever, which we need lefty relievers. He should be pretty solid. Yeah, I feel like this guy could be a solid pickup for us as well. And they even like this guy. Let's just fleece the frickin' Angels while we're at it. Why not? We get both of these lefty relievers. Jamie Hopkins here, 23 years old. And then Bobby Pasternak, who is another lefty, currently in AAA. I feel like this could be a very good pickup for us, and we are going to do it. So Flores, Joseph, Hopkins, and Pasternak come over to the Mariners. And just looking at what our rotation could possibly look like this season, with Soroka, Dunn, Gilbert leaving, Newsom leaving. So it looks like Perez would be taking over as the number one guy, and then just guys we have on our team already who could move into that spot in the rotation would be like Ken Deppen would, De Los Santos would, maybe Colby Halter moves into the rotation. Probably not, though. Ben Tompkins, isn't he just tears UCL? Yeah, he's not going to be in the rotation. You know, maybe Cody Brackett finally does something for us and gets in the rotation. Monroy is probably going to be in the bigs, and he'll be in the rotation, maybe. He's more of a bullpen emergency starter at the point right now. So I'm thinking because of that, we might want to try to bridge the gap for our starters and maybe get Dunn or Gilbert. Not Soroka, because Soroka is going to want way too much and way too much term. But if we can get, like, I think I'm leaning towards Dunn just because of how good he's been as of recently. It seems like he has, even though he's older than Gilbert, it seems like he's been much better age-wise than Gilbert has. Like, Gilbert's kind of not been as great the past few seasons, but Dunn is still, like, all-star quality level. So if we can get Dunn on maybe, like, a 2-year deal, and I don't want to do a vesting option, I want to do a team option, on, like, a 2-year deal for maybe, like, $15 million for both years, Okay, so he's not interested. Not interested at all. Never mind. So we're not bringing back Justin Dunn. Man, Gilbert only wants 3 years and he keeps jacking up the price. I don't understand, man. It's like if I won't give you... The AI has some really interesting things in this where it's like, oh, hey, I only give you 11 million. I'm not giving you more than 11 million. They're like, all right, how about you give me more years and more money? And it's just like, no, why would I do that? Why would I... Like, Logan Gilbert is by far the one that I don't want to bring back between him and Dunn, just because I feel like he's the worst pitcher right now, and I'd much rather... And, like, Dunn doesn't want to come back anymore, because... he wanted way more money than I was willing to give. So I guess we'll just do that. We'll just give them the qualifying offers here, and maybe, like, Dunn or Gilbert will accept it, but even if they don't, I'm fine with getting the 5 draft picks, because I highly doubt any of these guys accept their qualifying offers. And then we're not going to try to trade anybody else here right now. We are just going to, we're just going to keep these guys getting what they're... We offered Garabitos and Bynum, and then the rest of these guys are just going to get what they're going to get, and maybe we're probably are going to trade dues, but we're going to wait a little bit more into the offseason. Alrighty, so Garabitos signs his extension, the fan interest increases, Money, Stupp, Valdez get their minor league extensions, Bynum signs his extension, so that increases slightly. We get ourselves a new trainer in PJ Mainville, and then one of our minor league coaches signed. Well, would you look at that? Evan White does not get a Gold Glove at first base. Actually, Vladdy gets a Gold Glove at first base. That's pretty... wow, that's insane. Turns into a really good defensive player now. So Vladdy gets the Gold Glove at first base. Evan White does not. But Jared Kelenic. Look at this. Jared Kelenic gets a Gold Glove in right field. So now, I don't think... he never got one in center. So he's... yeah, oh my god, yeah, he is an incredible defensive right fielder, way better than he ever was in center. But yeah, very good to see there. Well, if it isn't the best AL reliever in 2028, Nathaniel Garabitos, who we just re-upped on a 2-year deal. And then he also has a year of arbitration after that still, so very, very good to see here from Garabitos. Oh wow, look at this, so we just got a message that Austin Nola has decided to retire from playing baseball. And he's actually going to go into the broadcast booth, as they consider him highly intelligent and articulate. So he's going to be doing, I guess, with the White Sox? Yeah, with the White Sox. Wow, he was actually really pretty good with the White Sox. He looks like he had a couple of good seasons here to end his career. Good for Austin Nola. 2 really good late career seasons here with Cincinnati and Chicago, and the White Sox even gave him a broadcasting gig, so good for Austin Nola. And then if we take a look at the awards around the league here, we've already seen the AL Gold Glove winners. In the National League, it's Blake Walton from the Nationals, Sean Murphy from the Phillies, CJ Abrams, Nasim Nunez, Bobby Witt Jr., who's with the Marlins now, Alex Mooney, Dan Burke, Hedbert Perez, and Scott Hurst from the Herons. This Dan Burke guy is very good for the Phillies. He hits as well. We already know the best AL reliever was Nathaniel Garabitos, and then wow, even Ibar was down here, and then that Johan Ramirez guy was on the list as well. The NL reliever of the year was Hermano Gentile. Sir Anthony Dominguez was on this list. Henry, I always notice him in these saves. Colanani, Devin Williams, but Hermano Gentile wins it. 24-year-old out of Venezuela. Vuvuzela, as the libs say. In the top slugger in the American leagues, it was the catcher of the Yankees, Tyler Soderstrom, Vladdy Jr. Severino for the Rays, Caden Wallace of the Rays, Willie Adames of the Angels, Robert Hassel III, Brock Jones, Alex Kirilloff, and McAnthony Valdez from the Tigers. In the National League, Zach Thompson, pitcher for the Cardinals, Ethan Hearn, Hector Vasquez, Termar Johnson, Nolan Gorman from the Cardinals, Fernando Tatis, Dan Burke, Cody Bellinger again, and this new guy from the Rockies, Saya Suzuki. Looks like that was his first Major League season. Wow, I mean, this guy was incredible in Japan. Comes over, and he's just as good. He is playing in Colorado, though, so maybe that plays a factor. In the American League rookie, it was Chris Kaiser of the Houston Astros, and then followed by Blumberg of the Spiders. That guy is an incredible stash. Chris Blumberg from New York went to Ole Miss. Incredible for wow. Went from high A straight to the major leagues. Wins Rookie of the Year. Incredible. And then in the National League, it was Hector Vasquez of the Rockies, and then also the Suzuki of the Rockies. Wow, okay. First baseman Hector Vasquez, 23 years old. The guy hit 48 bombs. Insane. And then the AL manager, this is the manager, right? Orlando Palmeiro is the manager of the Blue Jays, apparently. Back-to-back really good seasons with them. Gets manager of the year. The NL manager was Alex Valdez of the Padres. The AL Cy Young winner was Ethan Reed of the Texas Rangers. That's the guy we have in our division now. Also, Stan Stoutenberry and Rony Garcia here. The Rangers are just a very good team. The National League Cy Young with the Doug Ade of the Nationals. 25-year-old right-hander at Wichita State. Go Shockers. This was basically his first full season. Had a decent amount of starts in 2027, though. He is going to be a problem. 80 grade curveball and changeup, 65 grade fastball. My Scout and OSA are very high on him. This guy is going to be an issue in the National League. And then the American League MVP was McAnthony Valdez of the Tigers. Look at Shohei Ohtani on here at age 34 for his pitching, it seemed. Wow, actually he was both. Really, really good two-way season for Shohei Ohtani. That's incredible with the Red Sox. I almost said Red Sox. But the National League MVP, who else but Cody Bellinger? That's now 4 straight MVPs. 7 total, I believe. Not baseball cards. But, yeah, 7 total MVPs. He's an 11-time All-Star. He's a 3-time playoff series MVP. He's a 2-time champion. 10-time Silver Slugger. I mean, he could retire right now and be a first-bound Hall of Famer, and he's only 33. So he's got some more years left in him. All right, so pretty much everything that we expected to happen here happened, except for Logan Gilbert actually did accept his qualifying offer, which is fine. We get him for 1 year and $15 million. That was about what I was trying to get him for in a 2-year deal. So we get another year of Logan Gilbert to help us transition into the next era of our pitching staff here. And then we get draft picks for Josh Lowe, Evan White, Justin Dunn, Mike Soroka, and Rodulfo, Bush, Perez, and Dews all get arbitration. We're probably going to be trying to trade Dews here shortly, but he is a guy who only making $3 million, has a few more years of team control. Just don't really have a spot for him right now since we traded for Pedraza. So Dews and even Bush maybe are guys we might try to be looking, or definitely Dews, maybe Bush. Trade at some point this offseason. And bada bing, bada boom, we are now into the free agency period. The free agents have filed. It is time to see. Look at that. Justin Dunn's actually one of the top free agents, so is Lowe. And we actually have $30 million to spend. I always could just move these budgets down a little bit, but I want to keep them what they're at right now. But we have basically $30 million to spend, a little like 30.7 to spend, and then 64.8 for extensions. So we've got ourselves a pretty decent chunk of change here to go out there in free agency with and see if we can get ourselves maybe a couple veterans to fill spots if we need that. Because just looking at our current roster here, you know, maybe we could use like a starter, maybe like a veteran starter on like a 1-year deal. It looks like they want Deppen as the closer, so I'm not really sure about that. I'd rather have him starting, to be honest. We haven't called up a lot of the guys we want to call up yet, just because we'll have Brackett, because he's already in the 40-man here. I guess we can call up certain guys. Like, we need to protect Monroy anyways. So, yeah, we need to protect him anyways, so we'll throw him on the roster. Hopkins here, we want to protect him. Same with this Pasternak guy. We want to make sure that Cermak is just on the Major League roster, so with Juan Jerez here. We're going to need to protect Keyshawn Akers as well, so we want to throw him on the 40-man and have him up in the bigs right now. The same thing with Jamie Rea here. And then I'm not going to add Cooper to the Major League roster quite yet, because he might start the season in like AA or AAA just to get ramped up. But I am going to have him on the spring training roster. We'll just make the decision if we want him on the Major League roster after spring training or not. But we're not going to add him to the 40-man quite yet, because we don't need to protect him from the Rule 5 at the moment either. So, yeah, that'll be the plan for him. But he's probably going to end up being like our shortstop this season, maybe third baseman. Actually, not third base, because Grajales is going to be our third baseman this season. So he'll play there. Right now they have it as Bynum as the first baseman. Because I haven't called up Pedraza yet, that's why. Oh my god, I forgot that Pedraza was traded for, and I guess he didn't have the guaranteed contract, so he wants 850,000, which is fine. We are going to give that to him. We just make sure that he does not go anywhere else. We are definitely getting Pedraza. Oh my god, that would have been bad if we did not realize that. I mean, it's even bad that we let him walk into free agency, but I mean, I totally overlooked that one. As we look at the pitching here, I want to sort these by arms. If we look at the pitching here, let's see what Guillen wants. Yeah, it'd be like Garabito is our #1 starter, which, I mean, it could work. Maybe he wins reliever of the year, then goes into the rotation and just shoves there. That could be a thing, but maybe not. So, Gilbert, Perez, and Tompkins is going to miss like the whole or like a big chunk of the season. Brackett, I'm not sure about. Monroy is, they have him in the pen right now. De Los Santos, Deppen. So, you know, maybe we pick up like 1 or 2 arms. Maybe not. The thing is, we have so much money to spend, so it's like, it would be a shame if we don't go out there and at least try to get somebody to help us out. Like, maybe somebody like this. Maybe we take a chance on Walker Buehler here, who apparently has had some really shit injury luck as of recently. If we see here, the last time he had 17 starts in 2026, 27 starts in 2025, but he, like, 2027 barely played at all, 2028 barely played at all. I wonder what the injury history looks like. Yeah, so you can see here a lot of injuries since, like, 2025. All these were just, like, you know, nagging ones, but then we had, like, strained shoulder, partially torn labrum again, elbow inflammation, back stiffness. So, you know, thing is, he's pretty injury prone. He's not wrecked. He's only fragile. And when he's pitching, he's really good. And I feel like we could probably get him on like a 1-year deal, maybe like a second year for a team option. And he's still a very, very good starter. OSA is still high on him. My scout's still high on him. OSA is a very low scouting accuracy, though, probably because he hasn't pitched much recently. But, yeah, I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to offer Walker Buehler, like, I'll give him like a 2-year deal, and the second year is a team option. But, like, we're not going to give him 9. We're going to give him like 8 mil for the, maybe like 7.5. Would he accept that? Okay, so he does not want a long-term deal, so if I give him 1 year 7.7, he'll take that? Bam, I'll give him that. I'll give you 1 year 7.7. This could be a thing. Maybe we try to get Scott Hurst here to play center field. Coming off a not great offensive season, but he's been historically a pretty solid offensive player. Like around league average offense, gives like a teens in the home runs, you know, walks a decent amount, doesn't strike out very often, and then he's also just like incredible in right field, hasn't played much center field, but I feel like he's a Gold Glove right fielder every season. He could definitely be a solid center fielder for us, like for a season. We can get him on a cheap deal, and we have him play center field for us, and let's say he's struggling once we get into like July or something. Then, bam, Victor Flores comes up as a young guy and takes over that center field spot. I think that's the move here, is we get Scott Hurst to be our center fielder, because we could try to go after the guy who did just win Gold Glove in center, but he would wipe out all of our things, and he's also a compensation free agent. So I think we're just going to go with Scott Hurst here. I am not going to give him a multi-year deal here. We want to go 1 season. I'll give you like 2.5 as a starter. Not what you had in mind. 4.5. Yes, you like that. Bam. We'll submit that. I'm thinking that Miguel Amaya is the move here. Either him or Reese McGuire here, just because he has been such a solid catcher. I feel like him as a veteran to have along with Suzak could be something. You know, he's never been a great offensive guy, but he's decent defensively. He's okay offensively. And he's just been around like a 2-WAR player for like his whole career. Like if we look at his, he's been in Toronto his whole frickin' career, and he's been pretty solid. So I feel like he could be a guy that we pick up, and he's a solid like locker room guy here too, because he's a high leader, high work ethic, adaptability guy. He could adapt to being the backup. Yeah, Reese McGuire is the move here. Get the veteran to back him up. Bam, give him that. We're also going to offer our guy Austin Adams here just a minor league contract. He's 37 years old. Might as well give him a minor league deal. See if we can get something out of him if we need him at some point this season. Alrighty, so Evan White, Mike Soroka, and Justin Dunn all signed. Mike Soroka goes to the New York Yankees. Classic AI Yankee thing to do, just sign the 31-year-old. Also, Justin Dunn goes to Boston, which means he returns to where he went to college, a BC sports kid, and he goes to play for Boston. We have them on a new shortlist I created called Mariners Legends. So I have that list that we are going to keep track of guys who leave us on that short list rather than the default short list. But we get the compensation, a supplemental first rounder, a supplemental first rounder, and a supplemental first rounder. And then we'll get another one when Josh Lowe signs somewhere as well. Oh, where did Evan White sign? Evan White signed with the Yankees. Wow, okay, so they're gonna have all their former players. Maybe they'll actually be good now. All right, so today's the Rule 5 draft. We have now decide what guys we are going to be protecting. All right, so we're just trying to shop Damon Dues right now, and the thing is that there's really nobody that's interested in him. None of these offers I'm really interested in. Really, the only one that I might possibly do is this Korean guy, Enwong Young, or Jung, whatever you say his name. He is a, probably never going to be a hitter, but he's really good defensively at mainly third base, though. So I don't think I would want him to be second baseman, which is where I'd be trading him. So I don't think we're going to do that. I might have just, run back Dues at second base, to be honest. I don't particularly want to do that, though, because I'd rather have Jerez or especially Whitty. I think I would rather have Whitty play second base at 21 years old, see what we have for him, see if he can actually get get the young guys going rather than play Dues. Two interesting things, actually. I forgot that I had this set to all infielders for Damon Dues, but there's actually a couple pitcher trades that I might be interested in doing. The first one would be Michael King, who is on the last year of his deal, $8.9 million. Very high control guy. My scat thinks he's still pretty solid. OSA likes him as well. He's been a very consistent starter for the Yankees here in his career. Just really 2-3 wars, and then last year he just kind of really got rocked around a bit. Not a great season for him in that year. So do we try to get Michael King to be like a one-year rotation guy for us, along with Gilbert, Bueller if we get him? Also, it just makes sense that he would just be a better pitcher when pitching in our ballpark as opposed to Yankee Stadium. Or we could go and try to bring back one of our former relievers here in Wyatt Mills. The thing about him is he is on a 2-year deal. He's still been a very productive reliever, aside from that 1 year he had in Los Angeles. But he was really good last year. I think I'm leaning towards King, though, just because he's a starter. So we're going to do that. We're going to pick up Michael King from the Yankees and see if he can be a solid starting pitcher for us this year. And then we're going to make a trade for Michael Busch here, who is a guy who really doesn't have a spot in our team. He would just be in AAA again, and we're going to trade him to the Atlanta Braves for Darling Florentino here. A third baseman, 27 years old from the Dominican Republic, and as you can see here, he has had back-to-back seasons in AAA where he had a 4.2 and a 5.5 WAR. So, we traded for Kobe Mayo last year, who was a guy who was similar to him, who had like a 4 WAR in AAA, but that was only one season. So I feel like if you put up two seasons of in this insane WAR in AAA, you got to be at least something. And then even if he's just like a depth out infielder for us, I'll take that. But we are going to swap Michael Busch for Darling Florentino. I don't know why I keep saying Fiorentino. It's Darling Florentino. All right, so I've gone through. There is nobody that we need to really protect. Everybody that's needed to be protected is already protected. We have the 20th pick in the Rule 5 draft. And we're just going to... It doesn't look like there's anybody who we... Maybe this guy? Possibly. Yeah, maybe we take this guy if he's available when our pick is up, but maybe not. We'll have to see when that happens, but let's see. He is indeed. So Eric Adkins, I'm not sure why he's a 70 potential as opposed to just being like a normal reliever, but I mean, he's been Pretty solid. He got rocked. He got a bit lucky in Double A, but do we want to take a chance on this guy? My scat thinks he should develop into a closer's role. He's 23. OSA thinks even higher of him. He's a lefty. I think we do. I think we take this Eric Atkins guy, and if he doesn't pan out, if he's like really bad, we can just send him back to Toronto. But we're gonna give him a shot in our system here. Eric Atkins. All right, so here are the guys that got taken. We took Eric Atkins, and nobody else from our system got taken. But Brian Rocchio actually left the Yankees, and he's going to the Oakland A's. So he's back in our division after having another year in AAA where he's just like a 4A guy. And bada bing, bada boom, we get all the guys here. Scott Hurst has signed. Our fan interest increases notably. Walker Buehler increases is amazing. We also get Reese McGuire as our veteran backup catcher. And yeah, we're looking pretty right now. Alrighty, so here are the Hall of Fame votes for this year of 2029. Kershaw makes it in his first year. Scherzer gets it in his third year. Beltran misses out. Greinke misses out. So does Ichiro. Robbie Cano. There's K-Rod, and then the rest of the bunch there. And Encarnacion, Cole Hamels, Carrasco, and Nelson Cruz all got dropped off the ballot. Alrighty, there we go. We actually got Pedraza. That's good to see. We want to get him up into Seattle. We need to make room for him on the 40-man. We are actually just going to take Kobe Mayo here off the 40-man roster. If he gets claimed, whatever. All right, Josh Lowe finally ended up signing. We get a supplemental second rounder for him. He goes to the Los Angeles Dodgers. So he goes there, gets significantly less on a one-year deal than he would have had on a qualifying offer. So he kind of screwed himself. But, you know, sucks to suck, Josh Lowe. You know, maybe you should have been better for us. And those are all the signings we are going to be making here. We are going to be heading into spring training here soon, and we're going to cut this episode off here and pick up the next one in spring and kicking off the 2029 regular season. But I am liking where we're heading here. We got this young core that we've got ready to take over. Once the old core finally leaves, the old core the remaining is Gilbert and Jared Kelnick. As much as it pains me to gonna have to see Jared Kelnick leave, I highly doubt we're gonna be able to bring him back. So yeah, but I think we're gonna be having a pretty decent season here. At least I feel like we'll be like, you know, where we have been. But even if we can do that, I think that's still impressive with all these young guys that we have in the lineups this year. And maybe Walker Buehler can really just, you know, have some insane season here, finally healthy for us. Wearing number 2, I love it. Absolutely love it. But yeah, 2029, let's do it.